What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of talk floating around about Arc Raiders, how this game is not a good casual experience. For all the casuals out there who are looking for a nice, game that is a vibe for them, where they can kick back and relax and not have to worry about too much PvP, a lot of people are trying to scare players away from thinking that they can, obtain this within Arc Raiders. Now, don't get me wrong, it's impossible to have a 100% rate of not getting into any engagements. There's always going to be someone who is willing to backstab you. But in today's video, I want to try to debunk this and clear the air for a lot of people out there who are on the line on whether they want to pick up Arc Raiders or don't pick up Arc Raiders, all because of the interactions within the game. And I want to make it, very clear here that you can indeed get casual matches and you can indeed avoid pretty much all combat no matter what. It really just comes down to how you put yourself into certain scenarios. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, before we go and dive on deep, if you guys are interested in more content like this, don't forget subscribing to that bell. Post twice here, once at 8 a.m. Eastern Time and a second time at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And also, if you guys are interested in any of my live streams, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, if you guys are interested, go link that channel down in the description of this video. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, as I was saying, for me personally, I'm not lying to you guys. I hear otherwise from a ton of other players saying it's impossible to kick back on Arc Raiders, and it's basically impossible to avoid any type of combat, but I'm here to, again, debunk all of this and showcase to you all that it's not impossible. Now, of course, in the background footage, you'll be able to see a lot of, casual interactions, a whole match, where I don't really got to deal with anybody. I run into a lot of, players, and each and every time, I'm able to just kind of kick back and vibe and not worry about any engagements. And again, this goes for all the maps in the game, not just one in particular, all the maps for me personally. And again, if anybody doesn't believe me, I do have my Twitch stream VODs, which are always active over on my other channel over on Twitch, that you guys can see full 6-hour segments of literally no combat. I'm not lying to you guys. It actually gets strange how little combat there is in the solo experience. Now, if you hop into trios or even duos, I can't guarantee that you're not going to get combat in there. If you want to play with buddies, then you best believe you're going to be getting some PvP. It's just the nature of the game. But in solos, my goodness, it is so casual to the point where, as I stated, I can have, for example, 3 separate sessions, 6 hours each. And I can go each session without shooting my gun at one raider. I'm literally not lying to you guys. You can go back on my streams and look at the proof. I can go all day long without firing my gun at one individual, and basically all my ammunition is used for arc robots. It gets to a point where I'll get challenges to hurt raiders, and again, you can go on stream and see it. I can't. I get into scenarios where I'll even take the first shot, and then I instantly feel bad, and then we de-escalate the situation, and nobody starts fighting. We're like, okay, you know what, sorry, we'll go about our business. That is how casual solos is right now. I genuinely did not think it was going to get to this point. I thought it was going to be a lot of people who were going in for PvP and solos at a certain point, but now that the official game is launched, you can get a good idea of what the overall community is looking like. And I gotta be honest with you guys, I am extremely proud of this overall community. It's really cool to see so many people be friendly, but it also spices things up, because when people are, not friendly and they betray you, it makes it better. Instead of always, thinking, oh, every person's going to shoot on sight, everybody's going to betray me, When it's that mentality, everybody's on their toes, and again, it's shoot first, think later. But in this game, you genuinely do want to try to talk to people, and you really do want to, maybe befriend others and, not have to shoot at one another and waste your ammo on each other when it's a bunch of arc robots who are going to, take even more ammo than the actual raider themselves. It really shakes things up, and it makes Arc Raiders a truly unique extraction shooter. It's not, I'm sorry, I need to stop calling it an extraction shooter. It's an extraction adventure from the words of the developers, and you can really, really, really feel it when you're, diving deep into the overall game. But ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, I want to give my tips on how to avoid all combat when playing solo, while still being able to interact with other players. Now, of course, I know on my videos, you usually see me PvPing a bunch of times, but I don't know. You guys can let me know what gameplay you prefer, but I find the PvP more interesting to watch, while I'm commentating. But if you guys don't mind watching me just run around and do challenges and, watch me be friendly to others, then by all means, I'll use that as background footage. Let me know down in the comment section. But still, as I stated, I have plenty of streams as proof to showcase that this method 110% works. Now, again, I don't think I know why people are having issues with solos. I know why people are having issues with solos. This is my theory right here, ladies and gentlemen. When it comes to an extraction shooter and you're going to loot, a lot of the time, what causes combat and what causes people to shoot at one another is the tensions and the build up to, finally confronting each other. And again, a lot of people, always say, well, I talk and it doesn't work. Well, I'm sorry to say, but you're talking a little too late. You're starting the interaction at too late of a time. Now, that doesn't mean you should run around the map, willy-nilly, not worrying about your surroundings. You should always be cautious because, as I stated, it's still, a PvP game at the end of the day. So people could still, sneak up on you, shoot you in the back, so on and so forth. But what I find is the most useful way to de-escalate any situation is making your presence known before going into an overall area. Now, this might sound stupid. You might think, oh my gosh, you're sitting there shouting out your name before you enter a building. That's just going to allow the enemies to prep even further. But what I notice is that when I go into a building while trying to be sneaky, that is when enemies start to build that tension. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you say anything when you finally do meet them and you finally do come across them, or maybe they pop a shot at you because they've been sneaking around, they hear you, walking around. And it doesn't matter if you talk then because the tension has already been built up. There's already been multiple minutes of contemplating and thinking where this person is. They're sneaking around too. Where are they at? Where are they looting? What's going to happen? Are they friendly? Are they enemies? By the time that you guys actually see face to face, yeah, you both might be friendly, but because the tensions have been going on for so long, 9 times out of 10, it might actually end in a gunfight regardless. What I have noticed is that when you break the tension right away, break the ice, go in before I enter any building, I put my mic on and I start screaming, hey guys, anybody here? I'm coming in. I'm just coming to try to find some loot. Anybody else around? Please don't shoot me. And I'm going to tell you something as well. I tested this. You don't have to use a microphone. You can use the emote wheel as well. It's just you can't wait to use the emote wheel when you finally see someone. When you're face to face, you know what I'm saying? And then you say, don't shoot. It's not going to work a lot of the time. Yeah, it will work. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it won't work. But if you want a guaranteed success rate of getting casual interactions every single time, then this is the way to do it. I personally believe when you go in and introduce yourself that way, it instantly kills the tension because the opponents already know where you're at. They know you're coming into the building. You're making, their lives a lot easier, which kind of de-escalates things because they don't feel as much of a threat is coming into the situation. And let me tell you something, it works every single time. Even if the person doesn't have a mic and they want to stay quiet, they still don't even bother shooting if you make yourself known and you make yourself, a presence in the overall area. So that is my biggest tip right there, ladies and gentlemen. Speak before entering. Now, again, this isn't going to work in trios, and it might not always work. I can't guarantee it's always going to work, but I've been doing it for days now. As I stated, 6-hour sessions, multiple days, and I can go for the full session without getting into any PvP. You just got to break the tension. Tension is what kills. The unknown is what makes people nervous and trigger happy compared to stepping yourself in and just, breaking that ice, breaking the tension, making yourself known, and making yourself seem like you're not a threat. And on top of that, holster your gun, ladies and gentlemen. If you really want to make yourself seem like you're not a threat, stop running at people with a weapon in your hands, aiming it at them all the time. Put it down, go into the building, announce yourself, and try to be friendly. Interact. And I'll tell you what, as I stated, a lot of people do this because it is a whole different experience to be able to loot an area, loot a building with, people who are friendly compared to looting it while trying to be stealthy and not have people hear you and not have people, understand where you're at. You see, when that happens, as I stated, the tension builds. And when you guys do finally meet face to face, it doesn't matter if you're both friendly, like I said, it's irrelevant because you guys waited too long to break that tension. If you do it before the tension can even begin, you guys can befriend each other and you guys can sprint around the building. That's all I do. That's all I do. I go to hot zones, red zones, announce myself, make friends with the 3-4 other people who are in there, and we don't have to creep around. We don't gotta, stalk anywhere. We don't have to crouch everywhere. We don't have to shoot at one another. We're just all, again, guns holstered, sprinting around, getting as much loot as possible, and even teaming up to get the heck out of there with everything that we were able to go ahead and obtain. But ladies and gentlemen, I can't lie to you guys. The solo experience in Arc Raiders is so unbelievably casual. It's so casual to the point where, as I stated before, I almost feel bad shooting at people. It is like nearly impossible for me to get any of the, hurt Raiders challenges. I've been like tempted to bring in defibs and just say, hey bro, I got to get this challenge done. I'll pick it back up. I'm sorry. It feels awful because I'm not lying. every engagement is chill. Every single person out there doesn't even want to beef. They're just doing challenges, so on and so forth. And yeah, I do feel like this will probably shift as the game matures and people start finishing more quests and finishing more things that they need to get done. But I don't know, man. I really do think that this is the general nature of Arc Raiders. You can go to any other game like Escape from Tarkov, for example, and play when a wipe happens, when everybody gets reset back to level 1 and they have to grind from the beginning. And it's still stupidly hostile to the point where, yeah, everybody might be working on the same beginner quests, but they're still going to shoot you on sight and put one to the dome. Whereas the Arc Raiders, I'm sure plenty of people are already progressed pretty decently through the quests. And I see a lot of people with great gear. Yet and still, more people are more prioritized on bringing that gear in to fight a queen than they are to bring it in to fight one another when it comes to the solo experience. But as I stated, if you're running it into, a rough time in solos and you can't figure out why people aren't being friendly, do what I just said. Again, I can't guarantee that you won't get shot. I can't guarantee that someone might want to betray you, because that's in the game. It's in the game for a reason. It adds that variety, which is fun. It's fun to run into those scenarios. But I'll tell you what, it will definitely up that success rate, and it's because of the theory that I mentioned. I genuinely think that the tension brings out the worst in all players, whether they're friendly players or even players who are looking for PvP. That tension builds, and when you guys finally come face to face, it snaps. And if you just hop into a building and just scream it out before you even come on in and let people know, hey, I'm coming on through, I'm friendly, I just want to loot, I don't want no beef, I promise you, man, you'll see a lot of differences when it comes to your typical engagements. But ladies and gentlemen, the whole purpose of this video, again, is to just bring some light to how casual and just how much of a vibe the Arc Raiders experience is, because I know a lot of people are nervous. They're getting scared off with a lot of players saying that it's not for the casual audience. If you expect players to, want to go in for PvE, then you're setting yourself up for failure, so on and so forth. And a lot of people are getting kind of pulled away from wanting to give this game a shot. And I can't deny any of that stuff. Yes, players do enjoy PvP. It is a part of the game. But as I stated, it's not the only part of this game. It's not the only factor. The AI is so creative and unique that with all reality, I find the AI, Arc, being more of a threat than the actual raiders themselves. So again, if your deciding factor is whether this game is casual or not, I think that you should just go ahead and scoop it up. If that is your biggest complaint, I guarantee that you'll probably enjoy this experience. As I stated, don't get angry when it doesn't go your way. But if you approach situations differently, you make yourself known, and you just try to be friendly, a friendly raider on the top side, I promise you, you will get way more successful extractions safely than you will with people betraying you. I would say out of like 20, 30 extractions, maybe 2 or 3 of them, someone might shoot you in the back or shoot on sight. Maybe. Which, if we're going to be real here, compared to any other extraction shooter, that is a very good, successful casual, as well, I'll call it, extraction rate. That's very solid. But, ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget subscribing at the bell. Post twice here, once at 8 a.m. Eastern Time and a second time at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Everything between Arc Raiders, Battlefield, Call of Duty, Splitgate, Gears of War, Skate. Gosh, there's so many games that are discussed on this channel, so as I stated, subscribing at the bell. And last but not least, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And tomorrow we will be streaming a little bit more Arc Raiders. So if you want to, see all the stuff that I'm preaching in this video, if you want to see me put it to work and know that I'm not just talking the talk, I do walk the walk when it comes to a lot of this knowledge, by all means tune into the stream. I got a link to my Twitch channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.